Dr. Chris McGee, please join us.
Woo!
So you be wherever you want to be. You want the microphone?
Yeah, I'll go here.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'll be dancing tonight. Yeah! Let's go, Cleveland! Wait, no, that's not where we're at. Sorry. Cleveland? Right on, right on. All right, so a long time ago, there was this email, and this email said, tell a story about an educator that influenced your life. So I said, sure, and they said, there'll be a bunch of educators. You won't be following somebody dancing and doing awesome stuff like that. So now all of a sudden my story, which sounds really interesting to me, now all of a sudden is like, I can't follow that. That's amazing. That's awesome. So I want to tell you a quick story about a polyatomic ion. Did I lose everyone in the room? Yes! Nice. I know I've got at least 2 or 3 of you. All right, this polyatomic ion is Cr2O7. It is dichromate. Oh yeah, come on now. All of a sudden in the back, I go, preach! Yes, preach. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about dichromate, Cr2O7, because it really did change my life. It was a silly little polyatomic ion that made a tremendous difference in who I am today. So when you take this dichromate, this Cr2O7, you combine it with ammonium, you get ammonium dichromate, NH42Cr2O7. That chemical compound is one of the coolest chemicals I've ever known in my life. I know, I'm a nerd. It's okay, I admit it. So here's it. Imagine this. You've got this test tube. It's got a reddish-orange crystal inside it, kind of like Fun Dip, but better, okay? And you put a Bunsen burner just underneath it, and then when that chemical compound heats up, it goes from this really cool reddish-orange crystal to exploding in this really amazing, screaming reaction where now this reddish-orange chemical becomes a black, dark, green powder. And the volume expands almost exponentially. This is really cool. Watch it on YouTube. They wouldn't let me do it here, okay? But the bottom line about this is that I knew none of this back in the day until one amazing lady took the time to invest in me. And I want to tell you her story and the story of how this little chemical changed my life. So let me give you a quick story about chemistry. I know some of you are breaking out in hot flashes at this point, but that's okay. We're all right. Just bear with me. All right, Cr2O7 is what's called a polyatomic ion. And what that means is poly meaning many, atom, atomic, many atoms coming together to form an ion. And this ion is also called in chemistry radicals. And I'm going to talk a little bit about radicals because every one of you in this room is a little radical. All right, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But what's really cool about a polyatomic ion is like Voltron. Yeah, you didn't know there was going to be a Voltron reference, did you? Like Voltron, these elements come together to form this structure. And every one of these elements come together and they share their electrons. It's a really cool phenomenon. It's one of the coolest scientific phenomenons where these elements come together, they share the electrons, and they become stable in this arrangement. In high school, I had this chemistry teacher named Ann Lunar. I asked her if she would be here tonight. She was not available. All right, but she was an amazing person that really engaged in my experience of high school chemistry. She ignited my passion for learning, especially in science. My sophomore year, I rolled in her class, and it changed everything along my lines. Now, one thing they asked me to do when I came here today is they asked me to make sure that I had no notes and that I just spoke about my experience. Well, my problem in high school chemistry is my problem standing in front of you today. I suck at memorizing anything, okay? My wife will send me to the store for 3 things, and I will come back with 6, 2 of which she asked for, okay? My memory is awful, and it's just a part of who I am. So I have to write everything down. So I'm here with my trusty little iPad to reflect on, hey, I need to kind of get back on track. So I have to do a little bit of help. And I need this help all throughout my career. I even sucked at memorizing little things like elements on the periodic table. I struggled with memorizing polyatomic ions. And those quizzes came every week with a vengeance. You had to memorize, what does AU stand for? Yeah, good Good job. Give yourself a round of applause. Nice. See? You remembered something, right? And that was so difficult for me, just to remember all those little minute details. I always needed help. So seeing my struggle, Miss Lunar took a chance on me. She met with me over lunch to go over every possible thing that happened in the classroom. She saw that I was struggling. She saw that I needed help. After school, I was involved in a ton of activities. So she said, you know what? The only option that's available, let's do lunch. Got it. Now, if you've ever been to Collinsville High School, anyone? Yeah, look at you guys. Woo! All right. If you've ever been to Collinsville High School, you know the cafeteria is over here and the academic building is over here. So you got to go get your lunch and then go over and meet with the teacher and hang out. Now, I know the life of a teacher is so glorious. And I learned this at an early age because she sat with me every lunch with her leftovers, her canned soup, her deli meat in a bag, her celery with the peanut butter. Yeah, that was the thing. Remember when you could have peanut butter in school? Yeah. You used to put it on celery and that was the thing. So glorious, the life of an educator. But she cared about me as an individual. She went above and beyond. She mentored me, she guided me, she quizzed me incessantly. Dear God, the flashcards. I still, wake up in a cold sweat at night and dichromate CR207. All right? But she cared about me, and she guided me through that time. So what does it take for a teacher to believe in a student? Does it take someone who visibly struggles, as I did? Does it take the stars to align? What does it take in order to make those special things happen? As educators, we're much like the covalent bond that makes up a polyatomic ion. All right? No, just relax. I'm going somewhere with this, all right? So in a covalent bond, elements come together, and they're characterized by the sharing of electrons. All right? That concept of sharing. Every element seeks to get 8 electrons in their outermost energy level, that octet rule that they really strive for. Well, every one of our kids do that exact same thing. They look out for us. They act out in class. They reach out to us. They email us. They try to do the most amazing things because they need that same stability that those elements needed. Each of our kids are seeking love. They're seeking compassion. They're seeking safety. They're seeking food. They're seeking meaning. Those covalent bonds make those things happen for elements, and that sharing and that love and the compassion happens for our kids because of you. So what does it take? I don't know what it takes to make these things happen, but I know we need 1 million Lunars that give up their time, their talent, their treasure to spend time with kids. You are away from your family tonight. You spent hours in Microsoft Word or Google Docs to write a grant. Why? Because you care about kids. Because you want to make a difference in your community. Because you want to make a difference in your school. And dang it, you're the radicals. You're the most amazing people in this entire region. Give yourself a round of applause. It's true. It's true. I'll be honest, I want the world to be filled with Lunars. I want the world to be filled with those people that share fearlessly, that give of themselves, that give up their lunch, that eat their little meal in a bag right there next to a kid because you're going to help them, by God, learn dichromate. All right? And we couldn't do any of those things without you. So thank you for being here tonight, for being away from your family, for taking the hours that you take in your classroom, for taking the hours that you take at home on the weekends to write these grants, to do these things for your kids. Because dang it, we can't do it without you. I love you, and I can't thank you enough for being here. And God bless Lunar.